Alright, so today we're doing some Foley for cinematics class. I've already been working on it a little bit, and as you can see, I have one of my prime tools here. I'm trying to make a better whooshing sound than the Adobe stock has, although like I don't really want to start swinging dowels in my room, especially with my computer stuff around. But I'm trying to get like a kind of sort of sound effect, because right now the one that I have here from Adobe stock sounds something like this. You hear that? So ignore the whoosh, but listen for the whoosh. And so I'm trying to get something like that. That was mine that I made there, which is obviously not as clear or as loud. But I'm trying to get something that's a bit less corny, like a bit more like kind of softer. And I had this before as well, I think. But that one's a bit bad as well. And earlier it was like rubbing some jeans together, because we actually had a pretty great little Zoom call with our our audio teacher for cinematics class, because he's a video teacher and audio teacher, and he was talking about just like rubbing certain clothes together, and also even like slapping yourself or something like that. And so I was trying to do stuff like that to try to make different sound effects work for this fight scene. I won't show you the footage for the fight scene. I probably would be allowed to, because it's from CineStudy, so it's kind of public access. I don't really know how that works, but it's just kind of a really cheesy fight scene, sort of like the acting's not the best at least not for all the actors. The main actors, alright, are pretty good, but it's like the minions, or at least one of them's, you had to really work your cinematics magic in order to make them look good, you know what I mean? Got some of the video audio in there. I really do like Audition. I actually like Audition's controls much more than Premiere's, like in terms of like using the scroll wheel to navigate here. I'll just kind of show you what I've got in here. I didn't put the other screen up. By the way, I highly recommend using Logitech Capture for really simple little things like this. It makes it really easy. It's the software that it recommended me to download when I bought my Logitech ProStream camera, or whatever they call it, something like that. It's just really like it. I don't know how lightweight it is, but it feels lightweight. Like it doesn't take like forever to set up and run, and it doesn't have a whole lot of settings. But if you want to do just basic screen stuff like this, it's not too bad at all for basic display capture. Works well, you know, with your mic, headset, whatever. You could change your like FPS, your audio settings. Not a whole lot of settings to change, but it's pretty good for basic stuff like this. Okay, so that one, meh. I think I'm gonna use that one, but I don't know how much better it is compared to this one. Yeah, you see what I mean? That one's like a really strong whoosh, and I could just lessen the volume more, but at the same time, why not make your own? Yeah, that was actually pretty good. I think I'll use that one. I should have put this on screen a while ago, though. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot of like, I had enough sound effects that I could probably just hand this in as it is, but I thought like, because he was talking about like, you know, experimenting with doing stuff, and I guess the more I think about it and the more I kind of bring it together, the more I'm like, yeah, I should do this and just take the time to kind of enjoy this. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun making your own Foley and getting creative with stuff like that. Yeah, and so we're just going to trim this up a little bit here. So it's a great perk to have a subscription to Creative Cloud included with my school tuition. Because then we learn a few of these different audio softwares, or not audio softwares, but Adobe softwares. All right, let's see how this blends. So oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So if no, that doesn't work. Can I move? Oh, I can move this around, right? You see what I mean? Like it's a nice little capture. So here's the video. This is from CineStudy. It's just I think it's just called Fight Scene. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard for you to look up if you want to play around with this. As far as I know, this is stuff strictly for educational purposes only. So I do not at all recommend doing anything else other than educational stuff with this content. So disclaimer there, full disclaimer. So as you can see, I got some cheesy little stuff going on here. You can't hear this very well though. And also it's important to, why didn't that work? It's important to kind of trim up your clips as well, because you don't want a whole lot of fat on the edges that prevents it from getting fit incorrectly. And also you really don't want it to blend with other clips you're not intending it to. So you see this one? It's difficult because it fades into the background a little bit, so I'll increase the loudness. You almost kind of need to have it slightly after. Yeah. But you don't want it too far after, that's the thing. Because, like, yeah, I guess you're trying to avoid the Mickey Mousing effect where you're, like, putting it exactly on key sometimes. Or I guess it depends on what you're going for. So as you can see here, it's all about, like, trying to line everything up so it makes sense. Yeah, that works. And this sound effect here was literally just my jeans with the belt getting thrown on the floor, and it just kind of works. Like there's other sound effects of him crashing into stuff that I have in there as well. I'm just working with my custom recorded stuff because all this other stuff, oh my gosh, all this other stuff is from the well, this is stuff I looked up online. It said it was royalty free, so I indeed hope that it was truthful in being royalty free, because I'm trying to use only royalty free stuff for this stuff. But all this other stuff is all from the Adobe sound library. This guy's about to get up from the ground, so we're going to do some more stuff with the jeans. See, like, it's simple stuff like that. And then you're just gonna trim the fat on the end here. Maybe even add a little bit of a fade just to try to seamlessly piece it in. Okay, this I'm definitely gonna try to... Do I have anything else here? No, I don't. Okay, so this is the really kind of corny punch, I think. I'm gonna see if there's anything else layered onto here. What is happening with this? It's a weird get up noise. Oh, it's because I... See, this is a good example of why it's good to record your own stuff, because I think I stretched this to slow it down, and now it's just... I don't remember being like this before, but now it's like all like distorted because it's stretched too much. Yeah, like it was okay because it was kind of in the background and I have music in here that I had playing over it, so it's fine. But we're gonna just use my own jeans sound effect, and so now as a result, when you do play it all, see, as you can see, it's really subtle, but you can hear a little bit of it, right? But that's okay, because you don't, certain sound effects that you kind of need to be a little bit nuanced. You don't necessarily want it to be like an extreme amount of volume, because then it's kind of almost weird. Like it's like, why are his pants so loud, you know? Like this, unless you're really like struggling and stuff, it's like that's kind of unrealistic, and like that's not really how life works. Anyway. Alright, and so now we're going to be doing the impact hit. So we're probably going to break out the jeans again for this. Maybe I'll use the badminton racket on the jeans, or even like something like that. Or maybe combine those things, because you know this is what it do. So right now what we have is a really kind of like Minecraft hit sound. So we're going to try to mix this up a little bit and do something a bit better. So let's do it. Okay, that's a bit too So if we combine those two, maybe that'll work. That's the bone cracking that I have in there. I'm probably like, my teacher said celery is usually what they use for that, so I might do that. I'm afraid you're gonna get too much of the, you know, you could get that kind of ting from the racket. I'm gonna try not to get that in there. I'm just gonna go for the hand slap. All right, so let's put the record on this track. I'm trying to like layer these so then like you could have multiple sounds. Okay, that was probably really loud. Can you work with me, please? I don't want to add the effects. At least not now. Alright, so I got this together now, and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. So this is what it's, or it sounds pretty good, huh? I keep pressing spacebar while my capture software is selected over here, and then when I try to press play in Audition, it just pauses the video. So bear with me. See, that's like a good combination of like the slapping, like contacting, and the fabric overlaid on top. So that turned out pretty good. It's almost a bit too clappy though. Turn down the loudness on this one a bit. See, it's weird. There's volume and loudness, and I don't really understand the difference, but there's a difference. Alright, so I positioned everything a little bit differently now, and we're gonna see how it sounds with everything here, except for I think the slap there. It's so over dramatic. It's pretty good because I'm kind of going for that really cheesy action movie kind of vibe with this, so that works. So the only thing it needs, I think, is a little clothing scuffle in here. So there needs to be some sort of struggling at this point right here, where she's handling him, and yeah, you see, it's just quiet, and then yeah, you get that. So we're gonna work on that. All right, so I got my Hades shirt represent that I have some nosebleed stains on somewhere. I wasn't fighting, don't worry. Okay, so we want it right about here. So we're just gonna kind of just something like that, something really simple. Phil sneeze. Yeah, I should have recorded that for that, eh? The guy sneezes when she breaks his arm. That's of course. So this needs to be a bit more dramatic then. Where are we at? So it needs to be kind of like something like that. I'm afraid it's gonna be too high pitched though. Why did it record up there? Bruh. Fatal mistake. Alright, so I'm gonna pause this and get back to it when I actually have the sound. So I have something kind of interesting now where I did like a kind of a slap with the shirt, and it ends up kind of timing out well with the arm breaking, so that might add a bit more of a thud or more of an oomph or a kick or whatever to the actual which I'm also going to re-record probably with some celery like my teacher suggested. That sounds pretty cool. Keep pausing the wrong thing. See, that kind of works. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because there's kind of like, I did a very like kind of rigid like 1 or like 1-2 or a 1-2 swipe kind of thing, so it that works if there's like a back and forth, I guess, but with this it's kind of more of just a general handling, and you're trying to portray that in such a way that is believable, right? Actually, it kind of does work because she like takes his arm, pushes it down, so it's like, okay. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think it works. Yeah, that arm slap is a bit excessive. And this face every time, man. Okay, that shot. So this is, by the way, like I've edited the raw footage together to look like this. The original raw footage was just a bunch of different takes all together in 2 separate videos, and so I just took bits from the 2 videos and combined them and edited a final cut. Well, final because I'm re-envisioning it now, or adding to it, because the assignment for the fight scene was due for cinematics for the video side, but then now we're doing the audio dubbing part, but I went ahead and did it then, not knowing that we were going to do it now for audio class. So I already have most of the work done, but I'm just going to do more proper like recording Foley on my own. That's kind of the bummer about like what happened with the quarantine and everything, and schools getting canceled, other than a bunch of other things being a bummer and terrible. In addition to that, we are going to get access to the school's equipment for recording stuff, and we're going to bring in, I think, portable, I don't know what they're called, like portable sound recording devices. I'm not exactly sure what they are named, but we're going to use that to probably do our own Foley, and we do a little session in class, or he'd probably be like, yeah, go and find a spot to record stuff, and that would have been cool, especially because you get to work with tech that's probably more than any of us would want to pay for. So, well, on the bright side, I got my blue snowball here that I got a little bit ago, and that works pretty well for a lot of stuff. I don't think it's a condenser microphone. It might be. I'm not really sure about that, but it works well for a lot of this stuff, so we're just going to keep rolling. Alright, so I just went and checked in the fridge, and unfortunately no celery, but I may have found something that might either be equal or better. Lettuce. So, as you can see with this lettuce, the reason why it might be better or equal is that you can get some cracking with the stem here, lower down, but you also have a much more flexibility to it, and because you need to kind of think, I guess, okay, what kind of emotion, or what, not emotion, but what kind of severity does this sort of thing demand in terms of what Foley you might use? And using celery is like the proper complete breaking of a bone, and in the script it says that she breaks his arm, but the way that she is doing the breaking of the arm in this shot, it doesn't really look like she's like snapping any bones, but rather maybe dislocating a shoulder, because she's grabbing the whole arm and then just kind of doing it like this. And so with how basic anatomy works, I really don't think that would cause any bones anywhere to snap. I could see it more as a like dislocation, twisting, maybe some breaking, but like even then she'd probably have to like straight up knee the dude. I don't know, but anyway, so we're gonna try this out. I don't this is sound effects, guys. All right, let's see where we're at. Okay, so I might actually just layer it on top of what's already there, but for the meantime, we're just going to do something like this. Alright, so we're there. So I'm going to start with just kind of stuff like this, like... Oh. Gotta remember to record on the empty track. What the heck? So that is not going to work at all. Slaps are not going to work at all. Alright, I'll get back to you when I have something together. Alright, so I took several clips here. So it's starting from this clip and ends at this clip. So you remember how many we had before? We only had like a couple. And so do you remember, and you also remember what my lettuce looked like before? Well, this is what it looks like now. As you could see, it has seen better days. I'm just going to get that up nice and close so you can see. So it's done its toll, that's for sure. It's definitely, I think this has endured more than the guy in the video is supposed to have been through. And so this is what we got by the end of it. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I might use a combination because a lot of them are a bit slower than it's supposed to be, because if you just look specifically at the video here, it's a really quick upward break. So I'm not sure, like, it might, and some of these are a bit too like wet sounding. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what we do. Okay, so now we're at the point where we have just, I chopped this bit off of the front because it's a bit long, and now we have something kind of like this. So it kind of, it works pretty well actually with this kind of high part here, along with the breaking action or the upward motion. So the timing works out pretty well. We're going to see what it all sounds like together. Okay. I will start from a bit earlier. So I'm gonna have to take out some of the other sound effects. Let's just mute these real quick. So something sounds like a Nerf dart when I have this on. So maybe we won't use that one. Alright, so after some playing around with this is kind of what I've come up with. So it kind of like, I pushed everything back a bit, or I pushed at least the crackling and stuff back a bit, to the point where now it's more, I don't know, more delayed. Like it's doing more of the crackling on the up motion, whereas before it was doing the crackling a bit prematurely on the arm, the arm grab. And so now I think it works a bit better. And it sounds a bit awkward just on its own, because I didn't dub the minions, and they didn't even really have a whole lot of voice to begin with. So when you put music over it, it's better. But without any music, just like this, it's a bit awkward. Because you think that somebody would go, ah, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that's fine. Because when you do have music over it, it sounds like this. The only thing is the music's a bit loud. Let's put this down to -6. You gotta balance things out so you can actually hear what's going on. Oh man, yeah, that guy swinging the pole. I don't think he's very well trained in acting, because I can't remember if I had to speed up that part, because some of his swings were literally like this in real time. Because, well, like, he didn't want to hurt anybody, probably, you know, like, and they're not trained stunt people as far as I've been told. So it's like, yeah, you gotta work with it. You gotta make it look good. Okay, so after some puttering around with the gunshot part, and I think I'm not really sure. I did some fiddling around. This is what I got now. So I think the music, I think, is on, or at least actually no. I'll turn all the music on so you can see what its full feature film edition is supposed to look like. That's the thing. When you have it over here, it does this, and it always messes me up because you have to have it here to just scroll normally. Okay, take off all the mutes. Okay, I think we're good. And I'll just increase this so you can see what's happening in the video a bit better. Can you? Thank you. Okay, so this is what we got so far. Wait a minute, hold the phone. Oh no. I muted these. I think it's because I have other crunchy sound effects that I don't want anymore. I'm gonna have to just, yeah, because these sound weird. It's like, it's too much. It's too wet. It's too much of everything that it's not. So if you take these out, but now it feels like it's not enough. Maybe we'll keep that. I don't know. Give me a second. Okay, I fixed more stuff. I keep pausing the wrong thing. Bit better.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
That's the meme ending of it. Alright, it's pretty good. And also one thing that bothers me about this is that if you look at the very beginning of the video, it says shotgun in the script, but look here. That is a side load for a Remington, I believe. My gun knowledge isn't as vast as I might like it to be, but it is there to a degree. So I can't really... I don't think I can zoom this in anymore. Can I? Yeah. So, it says shotgun. These some tiny shells if that's a shotgun. So, in other words, it's not a shotgun. It's a very small thing, but I just wanted to say that. It is what it is. And other than that, I did notice that near the end there were some sound effects that were a bit too quiet because of how I remanaged some of the sound. I was going for a very kind of very classic cheesy action movie vibe with a lot of those flutes and other things that you could hear. Okay, so after more puttering, and you're lucky that I paused this because otherwise this would be like an hour and a half long video. Pause it many times. Like I just accidentally paused the recording right now. There we go. Okay, so the only thing here that I thought that was a bit underrepresented was the scuffle of the guy getting up. I think I just heard some bass from somewhere else and I was like, what? Is that me? Yeah, okay, there's something else somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this too long. Maybe I need to stop. But anyway, this is where we're at. Yeah, okay, that's a bit better. It's like, it's not perfect, but it's to the point where you could tell, okay, there is some movement definitely happening there. The audio supports that. Other than that, I think I wanted to just, for the sake of adding a bit more of my own Foley, right here. On that punch. It's a pretty solid punch. It's a very traditional kind of crunch punch movie cliche sort of whatever sort of thing. So I think I maybe just add a little wrist slap to it or something. I don't know, we'll see what happens. Alright. So bad. Like it's not bad, it's just I don't know, this feels dumb. Oh man, only for Foley, man. And then just boost that. For this, I can't even tell, man. Like, okay, definitely not. Obviously that was a bad idea. Can I even? Okay, I was like, can I even reduce it? Alright, so maybe I'm thinking maybe I'd do a belly slap, so you can't see it, but my belly is there. Trying to get something with a bit more bass. Okay. You can't even hear it. Maybe get the belly button area for a bit more of a pop. Oh man. I think it's good. No, it's not. I almost want to keep it in just for the memes, but I won't. But if it was in there, we get that time perfect. Just like she's slapping him with a salmon, or something, or like no, like you know those. Or he's getting hit with like those big flexible rubber jelly mats, like just straight up, man. So I think we're gonna settle for just like a something like that. The clothing helps add more of the substance that I want, but it's not like it's not a true sound in the sense of it's not like a skin texture. Because you don't want it to be too much of a... It's weird. It's just weird. Alright, so I just kind of settled for what was there, and this is basically what we have now. I've played this multiple times already, but just as I guess a final run through of what is there. Small tweaks have, like, over the course of this, obviously, like, many tweaks have been added. I don't know how many small tweaks recently, but definitely enough, like, subtle things with the music has been changed as well, or positions, timings, volumes, or something like that. That glass is a bit harsh. Alright, made the glass a bit softer. It's technically ceramic apparently, but made that softer. And then also the footsteps, I put a bit of a gradual increase on them, so that it's not as like bam, it's right there. It's more like it's kind of off in the distance somewhere. Some dude is walking or something. Yeah, a bit quiet. Yeah. I like this bit with the music here. Yeah, it's like... Alright, not bad. Not the most eventful video, but if you're interested in doing Foley and audio, maybe my amateur hour or hours condensed into this whatever time frame helps. Maybe? I don't know. If it did, cool. I should also note that I'm going to be submitting one version with the music and one without the music, because my teacher and I were discussing this, and the solution, or the thing that we're thinking would be best, because I still have the music in there that I'm happy with, but he wants to hear the Foley specifically, because I don't think it was an assignment that was required to have music, but it's there. So I'm going to submit one with just pure Foley, one with music, and hopefully it goes well. Hopefully he'll like it. It'll be a good mark. We'll see. I also realized that I forgot to add footsteps for the protagonist. So she had no footsteps initially walking into the room, just the scuffling, and so now I've added some very light cowboy steps. That's just what it was called, yeah, Foley footstep cowboy boots. It's tough sometimes because you want to find something that fits the room atmosphere. Like, you don't want something with too much dirt, because this place isn't like complete dirt ground. Maybe it's dirty, but it ain't that dirty, you know what I mean? And so it's like you're trying to pick your sound effects wisely, unless you create your own, but I don't really feel like going and trying to walk on a floor and just do the setup for that, because like I don't want to pull my mic and laptop down there, and if I do it on the phone it's not going to be as good quality. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's whatever, and it's better now. It's fine. So now I think I'm done. We'll see. So here we are again. So apparently I forgot another thing, which was this dude. You see, this is I guess why I should have done it without the music, like just muted the music right off the bat when I was doing this. and just, well, I think I did it times, I don't know, man. The process starts to just get a mixture of things after a while. This is what it was. So there was no footsteps on this dude when he was sneaking on up, right? So now what we do is we got some other footsteps from the library that are like little boot steps, which don't really match his shoes, but whatever. Kind of has a similar surface, so he's creeping on in, and then yeah, then you go into all the other stuff. So it's there. It's work boots. There we go. Okay, so yeah. Yet another thing on the forgetful list. I was supposed to add a a bus with a reverb on it, so I didn't know what a bus was, so I had to look it up. I think it's probably because I believe I missed that class, probably. Where I looked it up. All you have to do is just you could click on a blank or empty space, and then you can just go to track, and then you can add a stereo bus track, or you could add really just whatever one works for what you're doing or whatever one you want to use. And essentially what it seems like it does is, it, as far as I understand it, it's like a middleman in between your other tracks and your master volume, or you can set it up that way. I think that there's a couple different ways you can do this, because you can, you can set its output to master. You could set it to another bus, or to none, or like, I don't know. I don't know enough about Audition to completely explain it, but essentially what it's doing is it's applying a reverb to all the tracks that get fed into it. So it's like a filter for whatever tracks you choose to feed to it. And so in this case, my teacher wanted us to feed all the Foley through this reverb bus, and then that gets output to master. Why is this useful? Because you have your fight scene in this warehouse, and it helps to have it echoey based on your environment, if your environment would be echoey like a warehouse would be. So then you have your regular music tracks outputting to just master. So then you have all of that sounding normal as it should, but then for every other track you put it to the bus, and so then it gets fed to the bus, reverb gets applied, and then that reverb on that gets put to master, which gets outputted. So it's pretty cool, actually. I like it. Alright, it's finally done. It's handed in. It's there. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one, alright? Check this out. While I was editing this, I found something kind of cool. That is all.